Hello everyone, Mike the Matchman here, and this video is long overdue, but better late than ever, as they say. This is going to be a video going over my own opinions, thoughts, and just an overall review of my first impression of Epic Universe. First, let's start off with what is Epic Universe, because there was a few people that when I told them I'm going to Epic Universe back when I went in February that didn't know what it was. So to start off to address that Epic Universe is the new theme park, which would be the third if you're not including Volcano Bay, of the Universal Orlando theme parks here in Florida. It has 5 different sections, which I will be ranking in order, and I will be going in order from my least favorite to my top rated today, and going over what I liked, what I disliked, and just my general thoughts. We also have new illusion, coming towards the end of the video when I reveal what my favorite area, land, section, however you want, whatever word you want to use for it, when I reveal what that is. So without further ado, and with the intro out of the way, let's get right into it. I went to Epic Universe in earlier this year, from like February 5th through the 9th or so. I spent 3 days in the area. I had a 3-day ticket, only used 2, but I don't regret having the 3-day ticket. It came out to be about the same price, and I got the park hopper for a little bit extra, even though I didn't use the advantages of the park hopper fully. Now, on that Friday, I did go both to Universal Studios and Islands Adventure, so I did use that part of the park to park options for the ticket. However, I didn't get to go on the Hogwarts Express train. It just wasn't, the line was too long when we were thinking about it. I still have never been on it, so I can't give you guys a review of that. And that, just to quickly get that out of the way, that part of the trip was fantastic. I went as Gambit on Friday. I cosplayed in the parks on both Friday and Saturday. And I had plans to cosplay on Sunday if I was to go. I'll get to that part toward in a little bit. However, on Friday, I got to take pictures with Rogue. I got to take pictures with Wolverine as Gambit, with Storm. It was all fantastic, all amazing, all excellent, to use a little wink and nod pun to the X-Men. There was just so many moments that I will have memories for the rest of my life, and I definitely appreciate celebrating my 35th birthday. And I was there with a few friends throughout the whole time. That was amazing. Also, they definitely made the trip even more spectacular than it already would have been. Just enhanced the whole experience. Then Saturday I went to Epic Universe, and then Sunday I just stayed in the hotel. I was too tired after partying too much, having too much fun on Saturday, and woke up Sunday morning to go early to the parks, mainly to ride Hagrid's, because I'd never been on Hagrid's roller coaster before, so I still haven't done it. I'll go back. I'll do it at some point. But woke up Sunday morning, wasn't feeling it, and just decided just to stay at the hotel and watch the Super Bowl. So let's get into the meat and potatoes, Epic Universe. We're going to start off, like I said, with my least favorite section. Now, I will say, as a whole, Epic Universe, amazing. Definitely would recommend, if you're thinking about going, I'm not going to tell you, no, I had a terrible time and don't go. No, I would say I had an epic time, an amazing time, and definitely go. It's worth the money if you have it. And also, the other thing I would say is go when it's slow. Like I went during the beginning of February, so kids are still at school. There wasn't much of an issue of wait times. I will get to, there still was wait times, and I still had to be strategic about how I went about my day, because I only spent one day at Epic Universe, and I will give you some advice on how to tackle one day in a moment here. But yeah, definitely still great. Go when it's slow, like I said. And then also, the other thing I would say is there are tons of videos that will tell you that will give you advice. And the ones I watch were fantastic to help with that. Along with that being said, the best advice I can give anyone that's simple and easy is if you're not having early park admission, then I would recommend going about and getting to Epic Universe at the gates at least 30 to 45 minutes before it opens to the general public. And this is because I saw people lining up 30 minutes to 45 minutes beforehand. We got there, my friend and I, 30 minutes to 45 minutes beforehand, and there still were probably 50, 100 people in front of us, even when we got there before the gates opened. And then while we were waiting for the gates to open, there was another 100 to 200 people, maybe more, to where that lined up behind us while we were waiting for the gates to open. So definitely try to wake up early, even if it's not your thing. I'm not an early bird, so I did. That means you can definitely do it too if you want to take advantage. And then make a plan and understand that you may have to change that plan. Download the Universal app that has wait times, so you can jump over to a different ride if you see, oh, this ride only has a 15-minute wait right now according to the app. Let me jump over there right now. So that's definitely my advice on tips. What we did is we went to the Harry Potter section first, and they actually pretty much just walked us right there. The staff did, as soon as the gates opened, because they knew that most people were trying to get there so they can get that out of the way early. We did single rider, and we were on and off there probably 30 minutes, maybe 20, 30 minute wait, which is nothing. I would definitely recommend, if you have single rider available to your use for your party, then just do single rider. That's how we were able to do everything, and continuously check back for single rider too, because sometimes single rider is not allowed or it's full. But if you come back at a different point in the day, you might find it open for specific rides. We had to do that with the Donkey Kong ride, the roller coaster ride. Minecart Madness, that was the name of it. Or that's the name of it. But yeah, we're going to get into the rankings right now. Now that we got the advice in the intro in this video. This is going to be a longer video just because there's so much to cover. But it's all pertinent and great information. So my least favorite land, again, Epic Universe was absolutely stunning. The work that Universal has put into this new world is awesome. And even though I'm saying it's my least favorite land, I still enjoyed it for what it was. I'm just acknowledging that there's room to improve and that there was some things that I definitely think they can continue to work out. This only opened in May of 2025, so it hasn't been even open a whole year right now as of the time I'm recording this video, which is the end of March 2026. So I understand that there's going to be some, issues, rides breaking down, what have you, within the first year. There is no way that you can sit there and say, oh, well, they should have planned for this, they should have planned for that. Yes, you can acknowledge that, but at the same time, no matter how much you try to prepare, there's always going to be something that you can't prepare for, that's unexpected, and you have to expect the unexpected, as they say. In these cases, when you're planning for these type of things. With that being said, the Harry Potter section would be my least favorite. And this could be the main section for me too. I didn't go on any of the rides in the main section, so that's part of where I'm struggling with that. However, I'm going to keep the Harry Potter world there for now until they continue to add on to it. Right now, there's one show, which I will get to in a little bit. There's a Fantastic Beasts Circus show. And then there's one ride, which is the Ministry of Magic ride. I'll go over the ride first. I went on the ride 2 times. Once at the beginning of when the park opened, and then once at the end. The first time the ride worked just as it's supposed to. The entrance, the line queue, chef's kiss to that. I mean, you have the flute power. You walk in. There's a little green smoke. Even if you do the single rider, even if you choose to take the single rider line, you're not missing much. I still got to see most of the line queue when I went through there. You can even walk through it afterwards, all the way up to the ride, and then exit if you want to see it, just to see the line queue itself. That's something I wish I had known for a while, actually. If there's ever a line queue that's too long earlier in the day and you want to do single wire, or you have the express line option, anywhere where the line gets, where you're like going past part of the line queue, you can always come back for most of these line queues and just walk through the queue if that's all you want to see. There's always an exit point that if you just ask a staff member nicely, they will show you to it. And that also includes for if there's a ride, like let's just say the Velociraptor, for example. Not Epic Universe for this example, but we'll use a different one. Let's say there's a line queue like Stardust Coaster, Stardust Racers. If I wanted to go through that ride queue, but I didn't want to ride the ride because I didn't want to go on that roller coaster for whatever reason, now I can just go out the exit and still see the actual whole entire ride queue in itself. And some of these line queues are amazing. Like I said, the Ministry of Magic one was magical and was awesome. Another one that's a great example of that is Gringotts, the bank. They put so much work into the little animatronic goblins and every part of that lead up to that ride is simply just leaves me at awe while I go on it. So that Ministry Magic was, like I said, was when the ride works as it's supposed to. I like the ride for what it is. Do I think they could have done a little bit more with making the ride a little more thrilling, like a little more drops? Maybe. But still, and here's another little tip for specifically for Ministry Magic. Each cart holds 12 people. It might be even more than that, actually. But it has about 12 seats or so. Therefore, let's say you go in the single rider line and you're with your party still all in the single rider line. You might actually be in the same cart right next to each other regardless. This happened with me the second time I rode it, and the first time I went on the Ministry of Magic. There was a couple where one part of them was right in front of me and the other one was right behind me, and I just said, hey, you guys want to sit next to each other, just go right in front of me, and I'm just here to have fun, and I'm not trying to hold anybody up, just like on an airplane or anything like that. I'll let you guys sit together, especially it's like a 2-minute ride, so it's not even like it's even more reasonable than being on an airplane for however long that flight is. I will say, and this is part of my rank, what I took in consideration for my rankings, the second time I went on that ride, it completely broke down. Now, they did get it back up and running, and it was towards the end of the ride. And since I've already been on it, I knew I understood what happened. But my friend who hadn't been on it definitely might have been a little bit more frustrated about it breaking down the middle like that. The whole screen went black. There is a screen in front of you the whole time, but it's still moving and grooving. I would say it's a more advanced Spider-Man in some ways. Spider-Man might have larger drops, but still, just little differences. I also will take into account the environment and which means like the food, the drinks, all that stuff that's going into my rankings too. I have my water here because I know this is gonna be a longer video, so we're gonna be speaking for a while. But yeah, as far as it goes to the rides and shops, or sorry, the restaurants and shops in the Harry Potter Fantastic Beasts section, they were good, but there's gonna be some other ones later on that are definitely, in my opinion, better in the park. Then let's talk about the show, because we have to talk about the show, and this is what's bringing it down a lot. This is what's giving the Fantastic Beasts area a complete nosedive in my rankings and lowering down all the way to number 5 out of all the sections in the Epic Universe. That show was absolutely terrible. I'm sorry. There are so many things that they could do that I know I could do if I was part of the show. If you guys don't know, I'm a magician, and I think about all these things when I watch a show. And the fact that they don't have more magical effects, practical effects especially, in a Harry Potter section where magic is the theme of the story. I mean, come on. And I know there's ways they could do it. If I ever get a job there, I will definitely help them with that. I would love to help them with that because it's one of my it is my passion. Magic is, and we're gonna have an illusion later on this video. With that being said, anywho, moving on now to my issues with the show. So one, you're standing in line for like 15 or 20 minutes, and they don't tell you in the app. Also, they tell you what time the show is, but they don't tell you that you need to be there 15 or 20 minutes before the show, because these shows will get to maximum capacity, and then you'll show up at the time. I showed up 10 minutes beforehand, 15 minutes beforehand. I still had to wait for the next show just because it was too full. And I had to get that advice from the staff. And then they said that day that they were going to be putting on the app to explain that so that it wouldn't be happening to other people. But if it wasn't for me and many other guests making that same complaint, I don't know if they would have changed that or add that to the app. And I don't even know if they did do that. I haven't checked, but they said they were going to. So that's number one problem with the show. Then you're standing in the pre-show to the show in this room, and it's filled to the brim with people. It feels overpacked in there, and just I don't like it at all. I'm not claustrophobic, but if you are, that makes it even worse. And just being in a small room with a lot of people for that amount of time, it was about probably 20 or 30 minutes, was probably not for the best idea. It just didn't feel like a right way to watch a show. I can only imagine if you didn't have a good view of the pre-show too. So that's another issue I have with it. Then we go sit down, watching the show, whatever. That part's good. Here's where another problem comes, and this is more of an issue of how they handle it versus what happened. So I'm watching the show, and there's a part of the show where they say look up, and there's supposed to be people flying around on brooms, and it would be like a trapeze kind of acrobatics performance. Sounds awesome. Sounds like it's supposed to be a Quidditch demonstration with practical effects. Would have been great. I say would have been great because they skipped that part of the show, and then they skipped another part of the show. But the only way I found out was because there was somebody else in the audience that had seen this show before and told me about it. They did not make an announcement that they were having technical difficulties or that they just decided to skip that part. No, we were just sitting there for about 15, 20 minutes in the audience, literally doing the wave because we didn't know what was going on. I was thinking to myself, should I go up there and start entertaining people? I mean, it's just like I had no clue what to do with this 15, 20 minutes that was just absolute lull, and we are all bored out of our minds when there's supposed to be a show. If something like that happens at any type of show that you have the ability to make an announcement over, let people know what's going on. Nobody likes sitting there in suspense like that for that amount of time. Even at a magic show, we don't keep them in suspense for 15, 20 minutes. Trust me. I promise you. So that was my issue with the Harry Potter world and why I would put it as the 5th ranked out of all the different options. Going on to the 4th one, my 4th ranked would be the main section. And like I said, I didn't go on any of the rides. I can definitely see why it'd be higher on some people's. Stardust Racers is one of the best dueling roller coasters ever made for what it is. There was new technology implemented in that. The carousel looks amazing from what it is. It's just lacking in what's there. I feel like they could add like a dark ride for space theming because of the Epic Universe, or a water ride for Poseidon for the Greek gods. Going back to Harry Potter again, there's only a show and a ride. They need to add more to this. And let's go next to my third ranked, or what would be my, since we're going up, so least favorite, second to least favorite. Now this is third. This would be number 3. I would say How to Train Your Dragon section. Again, this is a personal opinion. The other areas, the last 2, which if you know all the areas of the Epic Universe, you kind of can figure out which are the last 2 now. Those are more just my style. They did an amazing job on the detail for How to Train Your Dragon. I did not go on any of the rides in the How to Train Your Dragon section. I would love to go on that roller coaster. It looked like a blast. So that's something I missed. Fire Drill was closed when I was there. Not to mention that I was also wearing all white Mario Odyssey outfit, so would not be the best ride for somebody in those clothes. But yeah, I walked through it a few times. The detail, the immersion, again, amazing. Definitely can see why people would enjoy it. Now moving on to my second favorite, and really these next 2 are probably 1A, 1B. I had a difficult time parsing these 2 together, or these 2 apart for the rankings that I wanted to do. This would be Dark Universe. And Dark Universe, woo! They put so much attention to detail, so much conscientious effort to every little part of it. I mean, we have the burning windmill, we have the drinks and beakers, we got Monsters Unchained, which was an amazing ride. I could ride that all day. That could be the only ride in all of Epic Universe. I would be happy. No, I'm kidding. I do want some variety, but it was that spectacular of a ride. And that's part of the reason why, again, shoots right up to the top. That queue, again, chef's kiss. That's a queue that you honestly don't need single rider to even go on, because the lines were never that long anyway. And also, you don't want to skip it, because you got X-rays of Frankenstein, or Frankenstein's monster. You got a whole pre-show with the mad scientist and everything like that. All of it was just amazing. You have different parts. You have Dracula and vampire and the coffin, and I don't want to give too many spoilers, but there was just so many parts of it, and the ride itself was, ooh, yes, that ride was absolutely amazing. And then Curse of the Werewolf also looked great. I didn't go on it because I do have a little bit of trouble with spinning rides sometimes. I didn't want to risk that being all the way again. But it looked like a great ride, and I would like to try it one of these other times when I go back. And then I didn't even get to eat anything in there. I imagine that the food is amazing there. I've heard great things about the food. There's a face painting section in there. There's a lot to do in Dark Universe, and that's why I feel like is missing in these other sections that I ranked lower than it. Now, without further ado, because we're about 30 minutes into this video, I'm going to get to my favorite section of Epic Universe. And again, if you know all the sections, you know which one I left for last, saving the best for last. And that would be none other than Nintendo World. I mean, come on. I'm in my Mario Odyssey cosplay. I have been a Nintendo kid since I've been this tall. My favorite video game all time is Super Mario 64. What else did you think I was going to rank as my favorite? Now, am I a little biased? Yes. But, again, personal opinion. So, what are you going to do about it? But before I talk about it, let me give you a little taste of my new illusion that I had for this. So, no surprise, it's cards. That's my expertise. That's my favorite. We got the red cards to match for Mario. And we're just going to pick out a random card here. I'm not going to look at it. So you go right in the middle of the deck. And if I snap, you can see the hearts, which I believe was your card, comes right back to the top. Now I'm just gonna put a tiny little M on here. For Mario. I don't want to ruin this card too much, and hopefully actually that will come off later sometimes. But you can see the 8 hearts right there. If I take the 8 hearts, put it right in the middle, push it right here. What is Mario famous for? What is one of his best talents? He is famous for jumping from one spot to another, right to the top, just like that. He can use warp pipes to move amongst anywhere else. So if we put it in the middle, it comes back. He'll just warp right to the top. We can place the 8 hearts over here. And I'll keep this separated. And we just peel right off here. You'll see it comes right to the top. And that little M's right there, still there. Do this a few more times. We're going to put right there. And well, actually, here's what we'll do. We'll change it up a little bit. We're gonna put Mario on the bottom of the deck, the Mario card on the bottom of the deck this time. Put it down right here. Let's go again with that. I like how that looked. Sorry guys. So we'll put the M right there. Put that right there. Put this down right here. And if we just take the cards, bring them like this, Mario jumps right to the top, just like that again. Alright. This time we're not playing around anymore. We're going to put the Mario card somewhere in the middle of the deck. Right back here. And we're going to take the top card, which happens to be the 8 clubs. It's not the 8 hearts, the 8 clubs. And we have this little stack of blank cards. I'm going to draw on the bottom of one of them. Peach in the little cage locked away. Then I'm going to put that right here. And I'm going to take a piece of tape. Okay. Take a little piece of tape. Put that right here on top of the card. So that we have the Peach drawing on the back of the Eclipse right here. Okay. Or take that card, put it in the box. And I'm going to try something with the box. I'm going to see if I can get the Mario card to jump inside the box through the warp pipe technology. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Well, we had the drawing, but here's the first thing I want to show you guys. The drawing's on the back of the hearts now, which is the Mario card. But Mario is also famous for saving the princess always. And look, the princess is now free. She can get out of her little prison here, and Mario is holding the key. So that's my little rudimentary drawing. Just a little quick thing that I came up with for my favorite section of Epic Universe Nintendo World. The Mario Kart ride was awesome, amazing. And then we include in that same Nintendo World, we have the Minecart Madness, which I spoke about before. That was my favorite ride of anything. I know some people say it was a little too jerky. I liked it. I don't mind being tossed around a little bit in a roller coaster. That's not what usually gets me when it comes to being queasy or nauseous on a roller coaster. It's usually the spinning or the stomach dropping. I would have gone twice on that same roller coaster. Something came up and just didn't have the time to. But regardless, there were so many different parts of that ride that was just done so elegantly. They overcame an engineering feat that I didn't know how they would do at the time. I mean, it makes sense for a roller coaster with the minecart jumping in Donkey Kong Country. But how are you going to make a roller coaster jump off the tracks and then land back on the track safely? The answer is you don't have to if you did what they did. And the answer to how they pulled off this engineering feat was they have your cart here and they have a side cart of the machine that goes basically like this, and then they're pulling the other cart along the dummy track underneath you. It is an amazing idea of how they solve that. I love the ingenuity of it. The food over that area was awesome, delicious, and all the restaurants had amazing immersion to it. When you walked into the Toadstool Cafe, you were surrounded with these screens that were supposed to be windows, but they had TV screens running of all the different toads around the area. I mean, everything was just such detailed. I mean, when you walked right in, you saw the Mario 64 paintings change. You actually could see them change in that little wave bubble effect, like when you jump in the game. They thought every little detail. I mean, come on, how can you not love that area? If you're a Nintendo fan, Even if you're not a Nintendo fan, I feel like you would take appreciation for it. But especially if you're a Nintendo fan, you might think you're actually in a video game, in the video game world. Anyway, we are now over 40 minutes of runtime on this video. So that's everything I wanted to cover about Epic Universe. Definitely take your time and go. Despite having 2 rides break down, Monsters Universe did break it, or yeah, Monsters Unchained did break down one of the times I rode it. But I mean, it was minor inconvenience. And overall, I definitely would recommend going to Epic Universe. So thank you guys for watching. If you're here now, there must be some reason you stuck around. So subscribe, first of all. And second of all, give this video a like and share it amongst your friends. Till then, continue being epic, everyone.